Good morning to the no viewers I have. So, today's little topic. Oh, by the way, Baz here. Yeah, I'm not good at those whole YouTube streamer influencer intros. I'm terrible at it. I know I'm supposed to have more charisma and yell at the camera. I ain't doing all that. Anyways, so today's topic is about patriotism, obviously, because hoorah America. But I want to sort of dive into something. So my roommate, they don't watch. They listen to this sort of, I want to say it's like a Sirius XM satellite radio station, whatever. It sounds like a radio station or maybe a podcast, like a radio podcast of some sort. And they bring in callers and whatnot and give them their opinions. And really, it's just like an hour, 2 hours long of shit talking Trump and shit talking Trump voters, and then the people who call in pretty much do the same thing. Oh, they're all idiots. They don't know what they're doing. They're all idiots. They don't know what they're doing. It's a bunch of people who call in and tell us what they think, how Trump thinks this, and Trump believes that, and it's like none of them understand what hearsay is. Like you really can't tell me what another person. Like I can't tell you what Trump thinks, even if all I have is his best opinions. I can't tell you what he thinks or how he feels. I'm not him, right? So it falls on the same thing. But what stood out to me was so these tariffs that are going around, right? We're putting tariffs on different exports and imports from different countries, and it makes sense, right? Because the American way, when we don't like a product or if something's going wrong with the business of a company, whatever, or if we don't agree with how a company is doing business or whatever, we usually boycott that company. So, for instance, I want to say back in the 70s, maybe the 80s, they had an incident where people were they weren't happy that apparently the people who do like the tuna fish gathering, whatever, for the tuna cans, that they will also get like dolphins in there, and so people start to boycott tuna fish. I guess big tuna, or whatever. And the idea was that until the tuna cans could be assured that there's no dolphins in them, people were gonna stop eating tuna fish, and it worked. Same thing with Dylan Mulvaney and the whole Bud Light thing. I put this brother man on a Bud Light commercial for a March Madness event when the brother don't even know what March Madness is, and then they boycotted Bud Light. That's the American way. When we don't like the way a company is going, we Bud Light that. We boycott that company. Similarly to different countries. If countries are doing business with us in a way that we don't like, we're gonna have to make a mark on it. We're gonna do something about it, right? So it makes sense to make a tariff. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I remember when Trump was originally running back in 2015, and some of the things that he ran on was bringing business back to the country, and people for the longest time had wanted to do exactly that. And it seems, I keep saying this, it seems like the moment Trump starts saying things is when we don't agree with something. Because before Trump got involved, before Trump started running and all that, before people started trying to slander his name, the things that Americans cared about was getting rid of the illegal immigrants, securing American jobs within our border, taking jobs back from overseas, because so many jobs had went overseas. You know how many call companies, financial companies and firms sent all their shit, all their customer service and whatnot overseas to India, to Thailand and whatnot, had them do our customer service and whatnot. Morgan Stanley, J.P. Morgan, Smith Barney, Goldman Sachs. They all got their shit overseas. I only know this because my mother was in Morgan Stanley, and she was there when they started doing this, when they started sending a lot of their business overseas instead of having Americans do the job. Because you could pay one Indian man overseas what you're paying 3-4 Americans to do over here, right? So the idea of bringing jobs back to the country is not a bad thing. But the moment that Trump wanted to do it in 2015, suddenly these are anti-American things. Suddenly it's a bad idea to want to protect the border. Suddenly it's a bad idea to not allow illegal immigrants into the country. All the things that he stood for, suddenly bad things because Trump said them. And that, in essence, is what Trump derangement syndrome is just because he says something, you're obviously against it. So now these people that I'm gonna say that my roommate was listening to on his Sirius whatever radio station, they were saying how because of the tariffs, China decided that they're not gonna play ball without copyright laws anymore, and they're just gonna start making anything. Since they already have a lot of the blueprints, they already have all the technology. They're gonna start printing and manufacturing all the things that we have, and it's gonna sell them down, mark them down for $1. Now, the people who are making this joke or saying this is apparently what China's gonna do. One, they're not realizing, like, okay, the products that are being made, chances are it costs them more than $1 to make. So they're not going to sell them for just $1. They need to get some kind of profit. You're gonna do that just to scorn us. You're gonna hurt your own money making. It doesn't make any sense. But nevertheless, isn't China already doing that? Aren't there already companies that China has is making products for, that's already low end, or there's a little bit of copyright violations, but they made just enough changes where they don't exactly infringe on them, like those dollar store Barbie dolls. You ever see a dollar store Barbie doll? They look similar to the real Barbie, but not similar enough to be considered the real Barbie. And any girl, whoever gets one, is gonna know right away that it's not a real Barbie, right? But nevertheless, that's all Chinese shit. And I remember there being a time when Chinese products weren't exactly trusted. Like, there was chemicals in the kids' toys and whatnot that were not good for them. But either way, what my gripe is that these folks that are listening to this, they're actually laughing that this is happening to us. That apparently we're the suckers for this. That China's gonna start stealing our shit. What I don't get is these are American people. My roommates are American. You know what I mean? People who are saying this on the radio station, they're American. So it's like, just because you hate Trump, you're gonna laugh at the idea that we're all maybe suffering because of a decision that he made. That ha ha ha, all of American is now gonna get their shit just pretty much stolen by China and resold to them for $1 a piece. I don't understand why that's something to champion. It's sort of like, for instance, let's say I'm a New York Giants fan, right? And let's say I've been a New York Giants fan my whole life. This is my team. This is my team. This is my team. Even when they lose, this is my team. And suddenly they decide they're gonna change their coach. Now they got a new coach. I happen to not like the coach, and suddenly I'm no longer a Giants fan. Now I'm hating them. Now I want them to lose just because of this one guy. Does that make any sense? That doesn't make me a real fan to the team if just because of the coach I suddenly hate the team. You know what I mean? It's granted, this is not exactly the same thing, but you've been tricked into thinking that it's Republican or it's Democrat, it's one team or the other, when really we're all under the American team. Just because we got a new coach, a new president, doesn't mean you should hope that your team loses. Because that means everyone around you loses, or your friends, their family, all of that. I don't understand the whole wanting to see things bad happening to America just to spite Trump. Like, if a nuke lands on us because of something that Trump did or whatever, you're gonna be like, ha 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 ha. See, I told you. Like, that's gonna be your last words. I told you so. As you're dying, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And finding a way to express this to them people is difficult, because as long as you're not standing on their side, they don't care what you have to say. Every time I try to express certain things with them, they'll cut me off and try to derail the conversation and go completely left field with it, like completely off topic, just to try to mess up what I'm trying to say. As long as your viewpoint is conservative or anything, they don't care about it. They don't care. You're an idiot, and that's it. And I don't understand how is it they could do so many things and not realize how contradictory it all is, how hypocritical it all is. You're supposed to be the tolerant left, but you don't tolerate anything that doesn't agree with you. You don't tolerate anyone that's not on your team. All I could assume is that they're not learning the lesson of why they lost this election, and when 2028 comes, it's gonna happen again. JD Vance is probably gonna win, and they're still not gonna get it. That's my gripe. I'm keeping this one short. I'll get back to y'all later. Y'all be well.